Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here again. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had a good Labor Day. Today is the 6th of September, 2016. Okay, our sun sign is currently in Virgo, which is an earth sign. Our moon sign is in Scorpio, which is a water sign. So we have earth and we have water. Earth and water. Earth is the form, the physical reality that we're in. Our conscious mind is working through this physical reality. We need to be patient with the physical world because patience is what's required down here at often. We're patient. We understand that things move according to a timing, so we want to get in synchronicity with what's going on by learning to understand the information available to us, learning to process it, share it with others so that we teach each other along the way. The moon sign water, Scorpio, is all about deep transformation and it's dealing with the emotions. Okay, water is dealing with the emotional realm. So what we have here, we have the Virgo, which is the earth sign. It's the hermit holding the lantern, so that's what we're looking to do. Inform ourselves, inform others, be patient in the process. But we have these emotions, this transformation that's coming up. And a transformation in an emotional level can sometimes feel very death-like in the process because, the emotions are very strong in us. Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. We want to make sure we're not making mud with the earth and the water. We want to make sure that we're making something usable. So we want those emotions to stimulate our ability to learn new things. All right, the aspects we're looking at, we had Neptune challenging us to take that Scorpio energy, take those emotions, look at them from a new perspective. And then once we get to this afternoon, both the sun and the moon, Virgo and Scorpio, are going to be in a sextile with each other. These are going to be playing off of each other real nice, an opportunity for those emotions to really play a part in how the information is processed. And then when we finally get to 2:02 p.m., the moon sign Scorpio is going to be in a sextile here with Pluto, which simply adds to the transformation at hand. So this could be a very transformational day in many ways. Our moon is 24.2% of the way back up towards the full moon. It's a waxing moon. Full moon will be here on the 16th, 10 days from now. Jewish calendar, we're in the month of Elul. We changed over the course of the weekend on Sunday to the new month, so we're at 3. Elul is the name of today, year 5776. Daily thought, imaginary kindness. Most of the favors we do for others are things that they do not need, things they only imagine they need because they live in a world propelled by fantasies. And most of the kindness we do is saturated with ulterior motives. We do kindness for those we love, those close to us, and those who make us feel good when they receive. But this does not matter. They are acts of kindness nonetheless, and God desires to be found in acts of kindness. And where can kindness be performed? Well, in a world of delusions where people imagine all sorts of needs and each of us is dependent on the other. The highest indeed is found in the lowest, and the deepest truths are submerged in the muddiest pits of confusion. Okay, very good. You might want to read through that again, but a lot of good information there. Over at spaceweather.com, our solar wind we could see is 438 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is up there a bit quiet at the moment, but we're expected to get in a storm that would be due to the wind coming off of the corona holes here in the sun. Top of the sun here. M-class flare possibilities at 10%. X-class at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity is slowly subsiding. 15 down to 5% over the next 24 hours in the mid-latitudes. Upper latitudes dropping down slightly in the minor realm, otherwise pretty stationary. I brought up a couple other pages here so you could look at these about space weather. I think we should learn a little bit more, understand a little bit more about what it is. Here's a ready.gov website. Space weather. The term space weather refers to the variable conditions on the sun and in space that can influence the performance of technology we use on Earth. Extreme space weather could potentially cause damage to critical infrastructure, especially the electric grid, highlighting the importance of being prepared. And I pulled up here, this is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, another way to look at space weather here. This is where the readings are coming from. You can see it's up to date, Tuesday the 6th, Universal Time, 22 hours, 17 minutes, 2 seconds. Shows us our solar wind of 490 kilometers per second. We can go through, we have a bit of a 3-day forecast. Right here tells us that what we're looking at here over the next 3 days with the geometric or with the planetary K index. And of course they got some nice grids and graphs down here to be able to look at and see some of the way in which this energy is looked upon. Alright. So I thought I'd bring that up so you could check that out. It's an interesting way to be looking at all of the way that the space weather is moving and so on and so forth. Alright, there you go. That's our cosmic weather. UFO news is up next.
Is the UFO news with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today I have 4 stories. The first one takes us over to Queensland, Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. Took place on the 30th of August. Strange, August is already in our rearview mirror. Here's one new interesting footage of a bright unidentified flying object or in the sky of a Royal Palm Beach desert in Queensland, Australia. This happened on the 30th. Got our video here. It's a 7-minute long video, 7 minutes 48 seconds by Laszlo Novak. Catches a lot of UFO sightings. Alright, there's our object in question. You could see it zipping through the sky there. Alright, links available. First Contact Radio, another good sighting capture by Laszlo. Here we have an object, green orb, in the trees here. With the wondering, what is this? Angels among us, animal totem, wolf spirit, spotted in the wooded England. Here's an interesting photo of a green alien behind the dog on the trail. I say alien because it was seen before running along someone's house a few years back. I was in personal contact with him back then, and she said it was a small running creature that disappeared, sinking into the ground. I saw her photos. They look similar to this. Okay, so basically this is just a little bit of same information, but just pictures of the event. So here we have a family spotted a UFO while they were out for a walk in Yorkshire, England. There's the picture, nice countryside. UFO up in the sky there. Here's a great photo of a UFO with 2 long appendages on its right and left sides. Some say it looks like the Enterprise. I think it looks like a sideways disc. England is, however, one of 2 testing grounds for secret alien tech from the United States Air Force. So is this ours or is it alien? Family was out walking on Yorkshire moorland, claim to have captured a star-track shaped UFO flying overhead. The dark gray object, which appears to have a halo around it, was snapped by Nicole Smith, 19, on her smartphone during a family day out in Bronte Falls in West Yorkshire. She was with her parents, Catherine and Shane, at the time, and was shocked when she saw the UFO in one of the photos. Her mum, Catherine, 49, from Normanton, said, "We went for a day out in Haworth and decided to drive to the moor and park near a footpath leading to Bronte Waterfalls." That's what they captured there. It was a good 2.5 mile walk from where the car was parked. My daughter was taking random pictures of the sheep and some scenery on our way back from the falls. It was around 5:30 p.m. when she took the picture on her mobile phone. It was only then that on our way home, she was scanning and she saw what she had taken and noticed the object. The picture has been studied by the American optical physicist formerly employed by the U.S. Navy, Dr. Bruce Maccabee, who is the leading ufologist, said, "I'm not aware of anything that looks like this. The image is too small for good resolution. It was not seen at the time, so no information on distance. It might be some sort of insect within 10 feet of the camera." Okay, so that link's available. And finally, intelligent beings are visiting planet Earth, and the Pentagon refers to them as the visitors. Yes, there are still many who would instantaneously think that you've completely bonkers for even contemplating any truth to the title above, but that comes from a place of innocent ignorance. It's easy to dismiss something without properly investigating the subject for yourself, and the thought of an idea like this still remaining in the category of a fringe type of topic is unsettling. The masses continue to ignore a tremendous amount of evidence that points to the fact that we are not alone and that we've actually been visited. Read the books, read the lore, start to understand what has been going on, because there is no doubt that we are being visited, Dr. Edgar Mitchell from Apollo 14 said. Why is this important? Well, it has a tremendous implication in all the fields, from history to science to energy and more. Unfortunately, we've been bombarded with the ideas of alien invasions, so little green men, and alien propaganda, which is probably a big reason as to why so many people have a hard time even considering it as a possibility. Behind the scenes, high-ranking Air Force officers are soberly concerned about UFOs, but though unofficial secrecy and ridicule, many citizens are led to believe that the unknown flying objects are nonsense. Former head of CIA Roscoe Hillenkotter, 1960. Theodore C. Loder III, PhD, Professor Emeritus of Earth Sciences, University of New Hampshire, writes in a paper that he made public in 2011. Intelligent beings from other star systems have been and are visiting our planet Earth. They are variously referred to as visitors. Others, star people, ETs, etc. They are visiting Earth now. This is not a matter of conjecture or wishful thinking. 2011 is about the same time more and more recognized academics started to speak up. Dr. Brian O'Leary, former Princeton physics professor, is a great example when he basically said the same thing. There are literally hundreds of these people, from academic to political and military backgrounds, all the way to astronauts that have been blowing the whistle for a very long time. Scientific publications, many have also been made throughout the years, describing strange and radar-confirmed military sightings by military pilots. According to Herman Oberth, one of the founding fathers of rockets and astronautics, flying saucers are real, and they are spaceships from another solar system. I think they are possibly manned by intelligent observers who are members of a race that may have been investigating our Earth for centuries. Oberth, Herman, flying saucers, distant world. Okay, so there's more to this nice, good interview here with Richard Dolan. So check all that out. But yes, aliens are visiting. We've already known that. Now we're getting some more confirmation about it. And so it's always interesting and good to get such confirmation, because it lets us know that we are on the right track. That is our UFO news. I'll be back. Stay tuned.
Greatest crimes against this nation. Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the
let's continue on. So, what I want to get into now is some of the current news that is taking place, because there was a lot of things that happened over the course of this weekend that you're going to want to know about and then share this information with others. The first thing is we've heard a lot of talk about Hillary's health, right? Hillary's health. Well, over the weekend, yesterday on Labor Day, her health went through another challenge because she had a couple of coughing fits. First one while she was actually out giving a talk at one of these rallies, and the second time when she was doing a press conference, sort of press conference, on an airplane. In both cases, she just continued to cough and cough. One time it was like for 4 minutes at a stretch. When she was on the plane and coughed, they actually had to leave from the interview to go to the front of the plane there, where she was met by the same doctor that we have seen with her many a times, by the ambulance, the one that was walking with her. So there's a lot of concern about what's going on with her health. So here is a really great website. This just became available. The information here was just put up here. It's called Hillary's Clinton's Medical Problems. And I want you to see this because I think this is very significant. This is information. It's put up by Dr. Ted Noel. He's 36 years as a medical professional. And he has this video here. I'm going to want you to watch. It says Hillary Clinton has had Parkinson's disease for at least 10 years. She's known about it all of that time. Her campaign shows a complete disregard for America in the pursuit of personal graft. So I'd play the video for you right now, except that once we start playing a little bit, we can't stop just to go on. It's too good. You need to watch this video because it describes in detail what's going on with Hillary. Now, the gentleman, he says that he's not her personal physician, so he can't actually make an actual diagnosis, but acting as a investigator using the public records that are available with her health, one is able to string together information and make a pretty good analysis about what's going on. And that's exactly what he does during the course of this video. It's 16 minutes long. Well worth your time. Watch it. Then afterwards, share it with others. Tweet it out to others and get it out so people know about what's taking place with this, okay? Because this is very significant. And she's not well. And you could see that. She's breaking down slowly. So the question is, if Hillary's health continues to deteriorate as it appears to be doing, what will they do to replace her? Is this something they already are thinking about? Most likely they are, because they already know her health's deteriorating. They're probably wanting to keep her going as long as possible. So they have a plan. What is the plan? Well, that'll be the million-dollar question. Part of the concern that I'm hearing out there is that it's still going to be a time where Obama does something to disrupt the election. And he's been kind of quiet in that regards, making a few comments here and there. But the most recent thing seems to kind of point to an idea and a direction where they might be headed. So something for us just to be aware of. This article came out yesterday. U.S. is investigating potential covert Russian plan to disrupt the November elections. So it's a lengthy article here. The U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies are investigating what they see as a broad, covert Russian operation in the United States to sow public distrust in the upcoming presidential election, and in U.S. political institutions, intelligence and congressional officials said. The aim is to understand the scope and intent of Russian campaign, which incorporates cyber tools to hack systems used in the political process, enhancing Russia's ability to spread disinformation. The effort to better understand Russia's covert influence operations is being coordinated by James R. Clapper Jr., the Director of National Intelligence. This is something of concern for DNI, says Charles Allen, a longtime former CIA officer who has been briefed on some of the issues being addressed. A Russian influence operation in the United States is something we're looking very closely at, said one of the senior officials who, like others interviewed, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter. Officials are also examining potential disruptions to the election process, and the FBI has alerted state and local officials to potential cyber threats. So, what they want to do in order to counteract this is they might want to get the Department of Homeland Security involved in the process, in the polling process. Say there's like 9,000 polling centers. They want to have them involved in the process. Now, this could be a good thing, this could be a bad thing, you know, but they're really trying to keep Hillary and keep the Democratic Liberal Party in power. So, blaming Russia, and Putin's already said he didn't do this. So, it's not really a good sign when we keep pushing it like this. So, we need to pay attention, just watch. We've got 2 months to go and monitor how this is unfolding because something's going to happen there. They seem to be setting up, setting themselves up in preparation for something. How are they going to take care of the situation and put somebody in place if Hillary gets sick and is unable to perform any further? Will Obama try to cancel the election? Will they try to put somebody else in? Will they try to put Bernie in? Will he come back out of wherever he disappeared to? Will they try to slip someone like Joe Biden in? You know, um, lots of questions, but I think we'll know over the next 2 months, and it should be quite exciting and interesting indeed. Now, yesterday, we've got notice, as you've heard, that Phyllis Schlafly, conservative leader, foe of the E.R.A., passed on. She was 92 years of age. It says Phyllis Schlafly, whose grassroots campaign against communism, abortion, and equal rights amendment galvanized conservatives for almost 2 generations and helped reshape American politics, died on Monday. She was 92. Her death was confirmed by Eagle Forum, the conservative organization she founded in 1975. In her time, Ms. Schlafly was one of the most polarizing figures in American public life, a self-described housewife who displayed a moral ferocity reminiscent of the axe-wielding prohibitionist Carrie Nation, Richard Viguier, who masterminded the use of direct mail to finance right-wing causes, called her the First Lady of the conservative movement. On the left, Betty Friedman, the feminist leader and author, compared her to a religious heretic, telling her in a debate that she should burn at the stake for opposing the Equal Rights Amendment. Miss Frieden called Miss Schlafly an Aunt Tom. Miss Schlafly became a forceful conservative voice in the 50s when she joined the right-wing crusade against the international communism. In the 60s, with her popular self-published book, A Choice, Not an Echo, sold more than 3 million copies and had a growing legion of followers. She gave critical support to the presidential ambitions of Senator Barry Goldwater, the hard-right Arizonan who went on to lead the Republican Party to electoral disaster in 1964, but who planted the seeds of a conservative revival that would flower in the rise of Ronald Reagan. In the 70s, Ms. Schlafly's campaign against equal rights amendment played a large part in its undoing. The amendment would have expanded women's rights by burying in gender-based distinctions in federal and state laws, and it was within baiting distance to become the law of the land. Both houses of Congress had passed it by a vote of more than 90%, and 35 state legislators, only 3 shy of the number for adoption, had approved it. But the amendment lost steam in the late 70s under the pressure from Ms. Schlafly's volunteer brigades, mainly women, most of them church-going Christians, and not a few of them lugging apple pies to cajole legislators. Despite an extension of the deadline, the amendment died on the 30th. All right, so there's more to this, so just wanted to bring this up. She was an important figure. As you know, she gave her endorsement to Donald Trump, said that he would be really good for the country. So, we could see what kind of a person, how she was a fighter, what her ideals were. Now, over the course of the weekend, on Saturday, to be exact, Donald Trump was in Detroit, and he was speaking at a church there, an African American church. And what I have for you here is the 15-minute speech that he gave while at the church. So I would like you to be able to check that out. What I want to play right here, just so you could see some of this last aspect here, is this bishop, the bishop of the church here, gives this prayer shawl to Donald Trump. and he's doing this, telling him he's prayed over this, he fasted over this, and this is an anointing from God to protect him along his journey for being the president. And following this, he then also goes and brings, there he is putting the prayer shawl on. And then he's giving him a Bible here so he can use it in times of distress. So that was a very big moment. Now, Reuters, who was filming at the time, they cut the feed at the end because he also apparently gave him an extra pin to wear for protection. So very nice moment. The mainstream media, you could hear there's video out there, which is you could hear someone whispering to cut the feed, cut the feed, and they didn't like seeing something positive being shown about Mr. Trump. So very interesting indeed. Now, one thing that I know you have not heard about because it's not making the public airwaves, but there was, as you know, the hurricane that happened down in Florida. And with that hurricane came people's lives being affected by it, just like in Louisiana. Well, Trump's Florida team was delivering supplies to those affected by the hurricane, the cyclone. Progressives don't pay attention to what's important. Sure, they're up to date with the Kardashians and how incredibly awesome Hillary Clinton is, but they're not really good for much else. While Hillary was fundraising and Barack Obama was vacationing in Martha's Vineyard, Donald Trump flew down to Louisiana to distribute supplies to those affected by the massive flooding. Progressives yawned. Now, Trump's team is doing what it can do to help those people dealing with the most powerful post tropical cyclone, Hermine. Where's Hillary? Liberals? Where are your beloved Democrat leaders? And here from Donald Trump, it said, today the North Florida RV gathered bottled water, diapers, Gatorade, and more to provide assistance to residents of Panacea, Florida, in Waukegan County. With assistance of veterans and law enforcement, the Trump RV traveled into one of the hardest hit areas of the rural Florida, canceling planned campaign stops to provide help to local NW Northwest Floridians. The fishing community will be without power for a few weeks. Our RV drivers are accustomed to storm areas, being from Mississippi. They helped clear trees and debris from the streets after giving the supplies. The community was very appreciative for the supplies, as there were only 3 cases of water prior to our arrival. There was no press or media involved at the heart and the concern. Thank you to Karen Gomo, our senior advisor, and Jennifer Lucetta, our state director, who repurposed the RV. And a huge thank you to Damon, Alva, Paul, Christina, Zach, Jamie, Michael, and the entire Florida Trump staff for working hard to expedite resources. So there's a nice article there about that experience. So you don't hear about that except on the alternative media. They're really not wanting you to know all the good things that's going on with Mr. Trump. But there's a lot of good things going on with him indeed. All right. So let's see. I was going to get into some other things here, but I don't think we're really going to have. Well, sure, why not? So the other day I was, scouring through some of the forums, and I came up on the topic of the Schumann resonances. And I pulled some information up here so you could take a look at this, because what this really talks about is, how I'd say everything's energy, and that we are receivers of this energy that is being generated back and forth. Well, the Schumann resonances are a measurement of this energetic field. The energetic field works in 2 ways. You've got the Earth, and then you've got what they're calling the ionosphere or the dome. So either you got a spherical or a flat Earth, whatever the case may be, and you've got something where electrical charges in the form of lightning are coming down from that source, and they're hitting the Earth. And in between that area and the Earth, that energetic field there is where all of these frequencies and resonances are moving. And so we're affected by that as they bounce off of each other. Could tie into a lot of things, but it just confirms and shows where we are in, in our receptibility, and really confirms that we are receivers of energy. So it says here the Schumann resonance are set of spectrum peaks in the extremely low frequency portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field spectrum. Schumann resonances are the global electromagnetic resonances generated and excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by the Earth's surface. Okay, and it goes on to talk about them and the range of them. There's a couple of ranges. You have the entire spectrum range is 3 hertz to 60 hertz, and within that, the peaks that are the very low peaks are from 783 to all the way up to 33.8 within that range are considered the extremely low frequencies, and that's where we're getting this measurement of the Schumann resonance, the low frequencies. Here's a place that monitors this, so you can see where the frequencies are. It's a live spectrogram, updated every 30 minutes. Shows the last 8 hours of very low frequency activity. I just received my Marconi antenna. Okay, so you can actually view now and look at the energetic field as it's moving through the Earth, what frequencies are affecting the Earth. And frequencies that definitely affect things like earthquakes, weather patterns, because this is, let's say we got the Earth down here and we got the cosmos here. This is in between. Now we have a couple of articles here. Websites: Tesla's Flat Earth, Electromagnetism Ties into Schumann Resonance. The Modern Gnostic. Now we know that space doesn't exist. I'd like to suggest that we not look at space-based boundaries, finds vacuums, but rather as one continuous area that loses density as it ascends from the surface of the Earth outward. In the research paper Tesla and Aether by Eugene F. Malvov, Nikola Tesla referred to the lumiferious aether. I'm not proclaiming that the lumiferious aether is what fills space. I want to merely provide you with another possibility that could exist outside of NASA's expanding box of lies. What did Tesla think about the aether? For that matter, what did Tesla think of electricity? We must remember that when the 19th century Tesla worked, the aether was inexplicably connected with the concept of electricity. In addition to its being the medium of the transmission of light or other Hertzian electromagnetic waves, the idea of particles of electricity, later to be discovered and called electrons, was not yet in vogue. Electricity was thought of something like an intangible fluid, literally etheric. In the seminal talk before the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, May 1891, at what was then called Columbia College in New York, Tesla speaks these telling words: of all forms of nature's immeasurable, all-pervading energy, which ever and ever change and move, like a soul animates an inanimate universe, electricity and magnetism are perhaps the most fascinating. We know that electricity acts like an incomprehensible fluid, that there must be a constant quantity of it in nature, that it can neither be produced nor destroyed, and that electricity and either the phenomena are identical. So scroll down the article here. When we consider the ionosphere surrounding our planet electrically positive charge, while the Earth's surface carries a negative charge, we must conclude that this amounts to a prevailing electrical tension within the Earth's ionospheric cavity. Okay, and as you get over here, what we have a description showing a flat Earth model with both the sun and the moon acting as electrical circuits that are moving around, and as they move around, nice good video showing how it moves around, how the tides are possibly affected by this. And right, then one other here. This is Earth is one big battery, which is showing how this energy is moving in underneath the dome. Here's a nice image here. This would be the Earth, the flat Earth, with the dome over it. sun and the moon to electrical things moving within that dome, causing charges or electricity to happen, energy being passed. We have a site here called Global Coherence Research. It says global coherence research encompasses a large variety of scientific data to gain new insights into the interconnectedness of human, animal health and behavior, and the sun and the earth's magnetic activities. The scientific community is just beginning to appreciate and understand the deeper level of how we are interconnected. We're getting closer to understand why and how magnetic fields generated by the sun and the earth affect human health and behavior, and why it is important to know this. And finally, we have the Global Consciousness Project, Meaningful Correlations in Random Data. It says when human consciousness becomes coherent, the behavior of random systems may change. Random number generators, RNGs, based on quantum tunneling, produce complex, unpredictable sequences of zeros and ones. But when a great event synchronizes the feelings of millions of people, our network of RNGs becomes a subtly structured. We calculate 1 in a trillion odds that the effect is due to chance. The evidence suggests an emerging noosphere and unifying field of consciousness described by sages of all cultures. The Global Consciousness Project is an international interdisciplinary collaboration of scientists and engineers. We collect data continuously from a global network of physical random number generators located in up to 70 host sites around the world at any given time. The data are transmitted to a central archive which now contains more than 15 years of random data in parallel sequences of synchronized 200-bit trials generated every second. Our purpose is to examine subtle correlations that may reflect the presence and activity of consciousness in the world. We hypothesize that there will be structure in what should be random data associated with major global events that engage our hearts and our minds. And here's a little, it's called the Global Consciousness Real-Time Dot. This is a real-time data analysis of the Global Conscious Project. It collects data each minute and runs statistics on a stream of random numbers generated by the project. This analysis is run 10 minutes behind the generation of data. In this way, it can be seen as a real-time indicator of global consciousness coherence. All right, you got the colors, patterns here, and right now it says slight increased network variance, probable chance fluctuation between the index 1040. So what is all of this? What the heck is all of this? What it's showing, and all of this is showing, is that we've got the Earth, which I believe it to be a flat, planed Earth, and we've got the dome over it. This is the way it is described in the Bible. This is how it's described in the Quran, and this is how many ancient societies believe and discuss the Earth. You can go back to the Sumerians, and they described it as a flat plane. You can read about Anu, how he sat over the flat plane, watched down upon it, so on and so forth. Okay, so we've got this flat plane, which is the negative, the ground, literally, it's the ground energy, the negative charge that's going to receive, and it's receiving the energy that's coming down from the dome. Okay, and the dome is over the whole planet. So as this energy comes down from the dome and it hits the Earth, and it connects with that charge, there's this field of energy that exists between the Earth and that dome. So everything in between is this field of energy. And this field of energy is being called the field of consciousness. And because we're all connected by this, if we have thoughts, that these thoughts are able to connect with other thoughts that are similar to our thoughts, because everything is electromagnetic. And as we are thinking one thing and putting our ideas in one area, we're electromagnetically affecting the consciousness grid that we're all swimming within. Okay, all moving within. So that's what this is all about here. So I thought it was very fascinating. Everything is energy. It's all tied together. Energy is certainly increasing around us. So it's very important, I think, that we continue to look at ways to understand the energy fields where we're living, what we're dealing with on a regular basis. It just seems to make sense that that would be a good thing to do. Okay? And here is one reason why it's important. Secrets of the mind, your thoughts can unleash extraordinary abilities. Message to Eagle. It says the power of our thoughts seems sometimes almost limitless. Our thoughts are still a mystery to scientists, but new studies promise interesting results that people of all ages can find useful in their daily lives. We have previously seen how our thoughts possess an immense power to change our reality. Our cognitive and physical abilities are in general limited, but our conception of the nature and the extent of these limits may need revising. In many cases, thinking about what we are limited is itself a limiting factor. There is accumulating evidence that suggests that our thoughts are often capable of extending our cognitive and physical limits. A study conducted by psychologist Ulrich Weger and Stephen Lohan reveals that our thoughts can release abilities beyond normal limits. Our thoughts could actually improve our vision. Contrary to the assumption that the vision worsens with age because of our philosophical limitations, the experiments can report tested here that vision can be improved through psychological means, the scientific paper writes. So, lengthy article, well worth the read. Whole point is just confirming that we are in the sea of consciousness, the sea of energy. It's all around us. It's a field of energy that when we connect into it, we are having a relationship with this energy because our energy field is affected by that energy field. That's why we need to know what is the space weather, what is the energy that is here within, our field. And by doing that and tapping into it, we're able to be more effective. As we learn to work with that, we understand that our thoughts are simply electromagnetic frequencies that go out and can create things by simply using our mind to create certain frequencies. And those frequencies connect with the bigger grid, which is all electromagnetic. And, we're just working with electricity. That's what we're doing. That's what Tesla was showing us. He knew a lot of stuff, but he was not, he was not the one that they really wanted to hear because he wanted to provide free energy. And they didn't like that. So J.P. Morgan was the one who shut him down, and he backed Edison, and we know the rest of the story. But very important that we understand what Tesla was really saying to us. Okay? Okay. So that is going to bring us to our channeled message for today. And this comes to us again from Archangel Gabriel as given yesterday.
Archangel Gabriel Daily Message / Monday, September 5th, 2016 by Shelley Young. There are distinct challenges that come from shifting into your authentic power. The first stage is shifting out of victim consciousness. As you start to assume the role of loving friend, guardian, parent, and guide for yourself, you start to experience the idea that you are completely able to navigate your life from a place of complete competency and innate and divine strength. As you leave behind the illusion that you have no power, you start to experiment with what power is. This usually manifests in different ways depending on your predominant energy. If you are predominantly masculine, the challenge is moving out of the old 3D model of power that which overpowers, controls, intimidates into authentically being able to anchor in your truth and innate power and create from there. The challenge is being able to leave the ego-dominated ways behind and find balance and fairness while embodying a new, much more loving and unified version of masculine strength. For those of predominantly feminine energy, the challenge is to not mimic the old masculine-based 3D models of power, or to use your emotions or old illusions of weakness as a means of control, but rather harness your innate and divine strength and create from there. Many women think they need to be tough and strong-willed to be taken seriously or weak and helpless to get assistance. The task they are facing is the creation of the new template for the empowered feminine energy, which is fair, loving, empathic, yet strong, capable, balanced, and firm when required. Both the masculine and feminine are anchoring and creating brand new standards, which, like all things, will grow and evolve as you go along. But the main attributes balance, truth, divinity, authenticity, wisdom, and empowerment for all, are at the core of both, and will be the driving force of the next grand phase of the shift you are all part of. Archangel Gabriel.
Okay, that was a good message. And the message does tie into the same thing we were talking about with energy, how energy is used, being able to tap into it. Everything is energy. Everything's energy. And we are just getting better and better at working with it. And now we also have to understand about energy that there are those out there trying to manipulate it in other ways. But now that we know what they're doing, they're simply affecting the electromagnetic fields, which is using the mind power to connect into that. We now know how we can be able to counteract anything that someone is trying to do in the world. We now know how to affect things because it's just an energy change, an electromagnetic change. All right, that brings us to our meditation. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Now, let's imagine ourselves standing on the earth, looking out all around, and seeing what we appear as the air, the open space from the ground, going up, up, up into the sky, somewhere past our vision. And in between all of this space, this place, is a field of energy. And we look at this field of energy and we see it moving, interacting with the earth, and know that there is life, an exchange of energy and ideas moving through all of the energy around us. And so we look at this energy and we feel this energy, and we feel it affect our body. And as it hits our body, we feel our body processing this energy. It processes through the 7 chakras, the main centers down the center of our spine. It enters in at the crown chakra, and there we associate the color violet with it. And then that energy moves down to the 3rd eye, where the color turns to indigo. And from there the energy keeps moving down to our throat, where the energy and the color becomes blue. And then from there into our heart, where the color is green. Down further, solar plexus, color yellow. Continuing downward to the navel area, orange, and finally to the bottom of the spine, color red. And the energy continues on down through our legs and feet, connecting into the ground, grounding out that energy. And there we are, a product of the cosmos, of the energy around us and the energy underneath our feet. And we feel this energy moving through our body. And we understand how our breath, how our thoughts all connect in with this energy and continuously exchange each other. And so we know that by putting out positive thoughts, we send this vibration out into the world to connect with other like-minded positive thoughts and mix into the whole sea of energy And by doing so, we know that we are able then to affect all of the sea of energy by simply adding positive thoughts into the electromagnetic field. So we just imagine as we move through the world today, being aware of this field of energy around us, being aware of it, being aware of how we interact with it, and sending positive energy and thoughts into it. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, exploring and observing the field of energy around us, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of three. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here indeed. Tomorrow I will be back. We will continue on some more news and information. Until then, have yourselves an awesome day. Just remember, observe what's going on around you, and you might see more than you realize. That's it. Have a great day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.